Welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. This week we are in Boston, Massachusetts, speaking with tech leaders in the area to learn what's new and exciting. And on our program today is Randy Fuller, and he's the Director of Business Planning at Tekelec. Randy, how are you?
Just fine, just fine.
So Tekelec is a very well-known name in the communication space, a major player for decades, right?
Yep.
And so much has been happening lately. I was hoping you could just bring us up to speed on what your company's overall just view is on the market. And just why don't we start out before that and just talking a little bit about what Tekelec's mission is now.
Okay, very good. So historically, Tekelec has been known as a signaling company, primarily SS7, signal transfer points, the market leader in that space, over 100 customers around the world, and 300 customers all around the world. A recent acquisition, so I'm still getting the hang of all the details. 300 customers, 100 countries around the world, very successful with that. We also see, essentially the vision is that we see that the mobile data network in particular is going to have a control plane a little different than SS7, but there's some definite analogies. In mobile data, how much you can use, the types of applications you can use, where you can use it, how well it's working for you, and all those sorts of things are going to be controlled by a suite of products that will keep information about what you're allowed to use, modify your service on occasion, measure how that service is going, keep all the signaling flowing between those different things. In some ways, it's sort of, if you look back at an SS7 network, a lot of those things were also in play. Different set of products, but the same sort of concept applies, but to the data network. Tekelec has a suite of products now with a fairly recent couple of acquisitions. One was Camient, makes a policy server. One was Blue Slice, makes a subscriber data management service platform. Now has a suite of products that can address all those things to help control mobile data.
So really helping the mobile carriers more in terms of managing what's happening in their networks with
That's
signaling and data management and keeping track of subscribers and those sorts of things.
That's right. I mean, everybody's probably seen 8 million of the charts where bandwidth is going like this and revenue is only going like that. How is that gap between those two going to be managed? Again, a lot of it will have to do with how much you can use, the types of applications you can use, what time of day you can use it, how much you pay. You'll be able to deliver different things. And all of those things will require this control plane, this network intelligence layer to work with all the things that are in the network to manage those. Tekelec, as an independent player, can make all those different, the control plane layer, and work with all the other different things that are in the network.
So you look at yourself as an IMS player, an NGN player? What buzzwords are you using?
I guess we would call it the broadband network, the mobile broadband network, which can, as time goes forward, will support multiple different services, including VoIP and video conferencing and everything else. In addition to just plain old vanilla internet access, we work with the broadband network. We actually do quite a bit of work in fixed networks as well as mobile. Mobile is probably where the primary need for this is right now. To us, an IMS framework is one of the things that can request control of how those network resources are being used. So if you look at IMS specifications, there's an HSS, there's a PCRF, there is a number of other things that are in there. Tekelec makes those products. They can be used for IMS-based services, for VoIP and video and all those good things, but they can also be used just for plain old data services. So, for example, a number of our customers are using it when you go over your data cap. In certain cases, you can get charged quite a bit extra for that service. That's the usage-based billing model. And so, because of that, people are surprised by how much those bills are. A number of our customers are using, as an alternative to charging extra for their customers, if they go over their cap, they just reduce how much bandwidth that user is allowed to use, depending upon where you are, the time of day, and things like that. It's to do those sorts of things that are just plain old internet access, the iPad that you had, and your iPhone, and all those good things. To be able to control those data services. Again, IMS is one of the things that can play in there as well.
Fantastic. So what sorts of changes have you seen in the market in the last few years, and what sorts of directions will we go in the next few years?
So, I mean, the big change is that mobile broadband went from being this, little tiny thing that very few subscribers used to that is the growth engine for the industry, no question about it. Particularly, you look at in the more developed markets, voice and text revenue is starting to decline in a number of places, and data revenue growing by 20, 30, 40% a year. That's where the growth engine is. So the operators need that growth, but at the same time, and so in some ways they're becoming an ISP, and that has introduced quite a bit of change in the organizations and the dynamics and the things that the operators buy. Adapting to that environment, in the fixed world, a lot of these, it tends to be, you sign up for a service, that's the service you get for when you turn it on, when you turn on your modem, it stays the same exactly all the time. But because mobile costs more, there's spectrum limits, things like that, there's a lot more of these controls, and so mobile operators are cutting new ground in terms of managing broadband networks. I think going forward, the most interesting thing really is whether it be machine-to-machine traffic or places like India, Latin America, other things like that, where the ARPU might be $2, $1, $5, something like that. To make those kind of services, data services, profitable, it's going to change. It's going to require a radical change in how the infrastructure works. Giving everybody a SIM card and a telephone number and as much internet access as they can get, and all those sorts of things, probably won't work in those scenarios where we're only getting a dollar. Sure. So there's going to be a lot of change in there about how to make those kind of data services work for the subscribers, but also profitable for the operators.
Does that mean microservices? Is that what you're getting at?
In some ways, could be. I mean, it could be something that pick a your refrigerator. It may not need to transmit data all that often. Things in GPS information, you don't really need to get that all the time. And so it might be that people, instead of paying a big amount for a data service that includes all that, they might buy a small data service that only gives them email, but they can I'll buy the GPS package for an extra $1 a month, something like that.
Right.
So there might be microservices, there might be sort of tiers of service. We've started to see a lot of that. Essentially, pricing for mobile internet services is going to broaden out. They're going to do what consumer marketing people typically do. They're going to start to segment their markets to try to find certain offers for certain types of subscribers.
Right, and then see which sort of offers would be good for cross-selling and upselling and things like that, right?
Exactly. Okay. So, and again, you think about that, in the fixed internet world, a lot of that stuff really doesn't exist. I mean, I have a cable modem service, right, and it cost the same amount for as long as I've had it, I think. Right. I mean, price has probably gone up a little bit, but I don't even know. Right. And the service never, as far as I'm concerned, never changes. It's just there. The mobile internet, again, because of my spectrum limitations, the marginal cost of adding capacity, you're looking at adding cell towers and base stations and backhaul and all that stuff. Sure. Mobile costs more to add capacity, so it's a different thing. And so how mobile internet services are going to be priced, delivered, packaged, all that sort of thing, you can see a lot more segmentation. Again, if you think about it, that's what Tekelec sees, and that's why having these kinds of control platforms to sort of move bandwidth around and move the services around that you can, if you want this one but not that one, well, we'll let you pay for this one but not that one.
Right, and you can pay for it maybe month by month, or you can pay for, and then maybe some intelligence there saying, well, 2 out of the last 3 months you've used GPS, maybe you want to buy an annual package or something like that. Exactly. That's very exciting. Well, thanks for sharing your views with us and letting us know what's happening at your company, and hopefully you'll keep us posted as new things happen.
We'll absolutely do that.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.